Western Conference podcast, and we back, baby. We back for another season of getting personal with all the people that we want to know as family and friends. But you guys always see me wear these hats all the time and ask me time and time again, what hat is that? Where'd you get that hat from? So I said, look, I'm going to go ahead and bring my boy and the co-founder of Residency. Give it up for my boy, Zach King, one time. How you doing, my brother?
Good, man. I can't complain, Cisco. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Man, I appreciate you being here because when we tell them the story, how this all came about with us,
Yeah.
it's going to be crazy. But before we do all that, you guys know Zach King we want to get to your story.
For sure.
So I want you to introduce yourself to the Western Conference family and just kind of tell us how your whole story came about.
Yeah, man. So like Cisco said, Zach King, co-founder of Residency. I initially got started in the restaurant business.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously played college football at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Never went pro. I was
Yeah.
a walk-on.
Hold on, don't just go over that real quick. College football at the University of Florida.
But during that time, Cisco, we was 8-5. We got our ass kicked every game. That's why I was trying to rush through it. You trying to slow me down.
You just trying to go right out.
Yeah.
We got to stop because that's a big thing. I mean,
is.
University of Florida maybe at the time wasn't that good,
Right.
but they have a lineage of a winning,
totally.
history. But how'd you even get there?
The history was there, and I mean, obviously, it was one of those things. I didn't play much in high school, only 2 years, and I obviously had the size and kind of had the natural ability. But it was one of those things. One of my uncles knew a coach at the University of Florida named Dwayne Dixon, and that was kind of my intro as far as them getting eyes on me.
Yeah.
So I only had 2 years of high school under my belt. As things kind of worked out, Double D, Dwayne Dixon got the tape. And kind of said, hey, we have a spot for you as a recruited walk-on. So I went there to Florida in 2002 in the Winter Spring game, and kind of was just like a match made in heaven. I was from Tampa, but was playing high school ball in Virginia.
So whoa, you from Tampa and you all the way in Virginia playing?
Yeah, so I went to a boarding school. What they call prep school. It's more common nowadays, especially with basketball. But back then it was a little bit more rare. It wasn't military or anything. It was just a private boarding school for boys in Virginia called Woodbury Forest.
Got it.
So even though I was from Tampa, Florida, I still played high school ball away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool for me to get back to Florida. That was kind of what I was trying to do. In a lot of ways, looking back, I probably should have gone to a smaller school where I could have got more playing time. But anyway, that's
but the
how it worked
experience
out.
alone of being
ridiculous.
at the university. Come on, you talk about a walk-on at University of Florida.
Yeah.
That's a big accomplishment.
It is. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20. I mean, it's one of those things where you just had a lot of turnover. We had 3 different coaches essentially during my tenure.
And that's always like the case. It's like, we got new coaching staff.
Exactly.
Now we got another coaching staff.
Correct.
Then you got a different system in place.
Right.
What position did you play?
I played right tackle.
Okay.
Offensive line. So, recruited essentially by Spurrier's recruiting class.
Yeah.
And when you got there, it was Ron Zook. And then the last towards the end was Urban Meyer.
You done went through the ringer then.
Yeah, so it was 3 different coaches. Obviously, 3 different head coaches, 3 different position coaches. You can imagine, but great experience, a lot of fun stories. I mean, I was with at that time. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
I mean, you name somebody. I'm from Rex Grossman, Chris Leak, Tebow, Pouncey twins. just on football.
Man, so you was there during the whole Tebow era as well.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
Towards the end, but I was beginning of that Tebow era. They hadn't won yet, but man, it was starting to create that Florida culture that you see now.
But even harder, we're talking about you being a walk-on. To go to 3 coaching staffs as a walk-on, that's even harder.
Yeah,
like, wait, who's this kid? Oh, he was a walk-on? You'd be lucky we keep you.
Tell me about it. Then, basketball was jumping at that time too. People forget that during that time, basketball won back-to-back national championship. You had Joakim Noah, Al Horford. So it was a great time to be in Florida, man, and just obviously a great
You were just
experience.
living it up too.
I was, man, just the characters, like I say, like off the field, the type of experiences you had. Keep in mind, this is 2002, before social media.
Come on.
People were a little bit more inclined to be themselves. So it's a lot of stuff you experienced and saw just because people didn't have a camera.
And now they don't believe you because you don't have it on social media.
Exactly.
Well, you sure you went to school with them? And now you got to be like, nah, I was actually there with Joakim Noah and everybody there.
Exactly.
But shout out to Pouncey brothers 100%. Too, man. They play with my boy Cole Misi at Miami. So man, it's just crazy how those little relationships through school goes full circle to what you're doing now.
100%.
But before we get to that, after Florida, what are you getting into?
So after Florida, I say football obviously didn't go pro. I immediately got into the restaurant business with my best friend and his dad. My family was in the restaurant business growing up. So as a kid, I was like a busboy waiter at one of my uncle's restaurants. Soul food, barbecue type food. But after college, my best friend and his dad, we got into essentially a fast casual chicken tender concept called Chicken Now.
Okay.
So that started in 2007.
Out there in Florida?
The first store was in Orlando, Florida, but then essentially we grew it to 56 stores nationwide.
Oh, see, come on. So you're already part of this chain.
So he had, my best friend's dad had the real estate connections, mall connections, leasing connections. So the network of people where we could grow it was easy. But at that time, before the recession, before online shopping, And you know how we grew up, you know, even if you were broke, you would go to the mall just to hang out.
Just hang out.
Just walk around.
That was our social media, was the mall.
Right, literally. You know, grab a free sample. I remember my mama telling me we ain't got no money to buy nothing. We just sample.
Oh, yeah. We'd be in Costco all day.
Right. Just,
like, where you eat dinner at? Costco. Where? The sample section.
So, you know. So, anyway, first store in Orlando did really well. Made like 1.7 our first year.
Yeah.
Just chicken tenders, fries, real basic
But before
menu.
you even got into the chicken tender business, while you were at Florida, was the entrepreneurship as doing restaurant part of the plan?
It actually was more like a backup plan. So obviously, you know, you go to the University of Florida, even if you're a walk-on, you have these dreams of like,
absolutely.
You're like Rudy, hey, I'm gonna make the team. I'm gonna,
I'm gonna get on this roster, undrafted free agent.
Exactly. You see, and there are people like that who do that. I mean,
absolutely.
I played with guys who made that process and made that step, but. I think obviously football was first. Then I got into sports management. I was very passionate about being a sports agent. I ended up switching my major, but that was kind of like my thought process. I've always been business minded.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You go take us back to the business mind. Like, was it through your being raised? Was you raised in a business minded atmosphere?
I think so. I got it from my grandfather. My grandfather, like I said, was in business since the 40s, nightclubs, restaurants. So it was always in my blood.
Got it.
But it's one of those things. Until you dive in, you really don't know what's for you and what's not.
And
for
what comes with it.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the boss or own a business, but they don't really understand the intricacies of what it takes to do it. So when you actually do it, you're like, man, this is really for me. And long story short, it was naturally in me. I don't know exactly what I can pinpoint where I got it.
Remember, this is a podcast. You're supposed to make the short story long.
Right, but but that's where I just felt like, man, I knew it was in my veins, right? Of some sort. I didn't exactly know what type of business. But even while I was in school, I was hustling. I mean, I was
at that age. You at University of Florida. I mean, let's not get it twisted. You still partying too.
Correct. And I still had the same personality, like kind of like, you know, how we met and how you know how I am. I still was a go-getter. I still was a hustler. I was almost like, you know, the unidentified Drew Rosenhaus on campus.
Exactly.
If you needed something done, you would call me. Or
you were looking for that backup plan.
Correct.
Like if it didn't work out with the plan, you're like, okay, maybe I could be an agent because you have the relationships with these players. Yeah.
Totally. And we'll talk about like why I didn't go that route later, but like a long story short, that's what led me to the restaurant business.
Got it.
I really had no plan, but I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. So when my best friend's dad presented this opportunity, I was like, man, this is perfect. And you know, he was already in business for 30 years, so he kind of took it as a gamble. He's like, hey, worst case, if it don't work out, we got some good chicken.
Exactly. And he had the background already.
And it ended up doing really well. I think it surprised even his own expectations, and then that's how we were able to grow so fast.
Nice.
But obviously online shopping and you know,
the e-commerce, that
kind of slowed us down. But yeah, some of the store locations are still open. I think we have about 15 to 16 that are still open.
Yeah. So you go from like 49, 50 down to that.
Yeah.
You just gotta do what you gotta do.
For a couple of reasons. First reason, obviously, online shopping recession. Then obviously now pandemic.
Got it.
A lot of these malls were closed for how long? So really the ones that are only open now are like tourist areas or stores that we know really will have
that high traffic areas.
Right. But I mean, hey, you know, at least some people lost everything. So at least some are still open. But that was
definitely a learning process for you.
Totally.
To say, okay, when you have successful businesses going on, it could at any moment go down from 49 to 15.
Correct.
You got to learn to adapt to that. How did you adapt?
So I two ways you adapt. I think the other way you adapt is just simply by adapting and having other businesses, which is, you know, the beauty and residency or the beauty and other things I have going on. You're not just waiting on one stream of income. I think, you know, online ordering has kind of helped people now, catering. You know, you've kind of find multiple ways to sell the same product.
I feel like the online ordering made it lazy for the consumer.
It did.
I mean, remember, we used to go to the mall every day to go get those new Jordans, go get that new shirt or jacket. But now you have the luxury. People call it luxury. I call it laziness.
Yeah.
Where you can sit there at home in your couch, taking a dump and order something that you want, and it'll be at your front door within a day or two.
Totally, but the thing too is, I mean, it's always eating out or going anywhere to eat, unless you're cooking at home, is always some sort of laziness. I think it's just, you know, kind of catering to the customer. Like if you're not cooking your own food,
exactly what you're doing.
You're a little lazy. So now what we've done is just made it even more convenient, and
it more easier.
I think, long story short, because of the pandemic, you just literally have no choice. If you didn't have online ordering or something like that, you were forced to close your door.
Well, you're forced to go with that route.
Yeah.
You kind of say, okay, so what's next? If we're not here in the brick and mortar, we're not here in the store, what are we going to do? And that's what takes you guys. So, and that's what kind of took over where, you know, entertainment as well. We didn't have the venues. We didn't have the concert venues.
No.
We didn't have the clubs. So we had to like go to Twitch. We had to go find the alternative. And that's what you guys did as a company was like, okay, let's get into this e-commerce game.
Totally. And the people who didn't do that, as you've seen, either they've died or they just not getting the same traction.
Got it.
Or, you know, hey, you have to expand your hustle and find ways to be creative. But I think the answer to your question is simply just having different streams. And I think that's taught everybody, you know, whoever you are, your employee, entrepreneur, whatever. Like if you're relying on one check, you're crazy.
And tell them that again, Zach, because I think we could see it as a message on Instagram, but if you got one source of income.
So I have a rule in my family. Everybody in my house got to have 3 checks, even the dog. Yeah. I done bought my last free dog.
Even the dog.
Even the dog. I swear to God, you got to breed this little man or something, bro. You got to have a little.
Go to a dog show, make some kind of money.
I'm telling you, bro, because it could be gone tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think some of the trials and tribulations I've had throughout my life have confirmed that. Yeah. But yeah, man, seriously, like you relate, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying be a jack of all trades, master of none, and be so watered down, you all over the place chasing bags.
Absolutely.
But just be realistic, like, hey, is it really even more work?
Yeah, and within your means.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? So it's something that you're passionate about that I've noticed that when people ask me for advice, look, be passionate about what you're doing, but also say, okay, if this doesn't work out, what's my plan A, plan B? And sometimes people don't like that. They say, oh, focus on the first plan, so there isn't a plan Z.
Totally.
But I'm like, you got to have that.
100%. What I'm on right now is like, how do you sell a product multiple ways? I mean, you're a great example of that, right? Like, obviously, you know, the different levels, like you may have a hat. The best analogy would be the restaurant business. Okay, you have a restaurant, but then you cater. Yeah. But then you also do online ordering. Yeah. But then you also do pickup and to-goes. You know, so you still are just selling the same sandwich.
Same thing, but different ways of doing it.
Correct. So it's not really another, lane. It's just another opportunity to sell that same product.
And I think the adaptability that you kind of have as an entrepreneur, you have to find the other ways of saying, okay, look, if we have this one avenue, how can we kind of get to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of getting to this product? Because it's the same product.
Totally.
It's the same product. So how many different ways can you make revenue from that product? And I think that's when a lot of people watch these podcasts and watch how we talk about what we're doing. We have to go through these trials and tribulations so that somebody that's watching this that does have a business say, man, I was just doing it one way.
100%.
Now I can do it 5 or 4 different ways.
Totally. Not feel like I'm stretched too thin on my bandwidth. Like I say, at the end of the day, it's still one pot, but it's just how do we get collectively to making that pot bigger and being more just honestly in tune with your customers. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's about market share.
And you're learning this as you go along.
Yeah.
You're doing the chicken thing. You're just getting out of college. University of Florida. Now you kind of say, okay, now there's a transition.
Correct.
Where's the transition where you have that experience from doing the chicken thing? Now, how does that transition into the next venture of what you're doing? Or you just got your foot in a little bit of everything?
No, so long story short, I mean, it was one of those things, I think I was beat down, right? Yeah. So like restaurant business is great, but it's hard, especially when I was on the ground level. I was operations training. I was 23 years old when I first started, man. I got a good heart. I'm hiring ex-convicted felons. Yeah. I'm hiring, I'm bailing people out of jail, letting people borrow my car. You know what I'm saying?
See, and that's a gift and a curse. I think when you have a big heart like that, I mean, we was the way you're raised, the way people are raised, their background says, look, if you have a heart like that, everyone deserves a chance like that. But then you have the flip side to that, like, nah, we ain't letting nobody have a chance like that.
Right. And I've been in situations too where I felt, especially like minorities, where people maybe are not given a chance because they got a strike or because people don't want to give them that second chance. Yeah. And like I said, everybody deserves those, but I just felt like a lot of people that I was hiring, it was a learning experience as I went. And to be honest with you, part of it was me being a nice guy, but part of it was me, I really needed these people. Yeah. I'm hiring people off the street. It's Friday, Saturday night. We got a business to run. I can't do everything. So a lot of it was me scrambling just to get bodies in the store and giving people a chance. However it may fall, you learn it from those experiences. But to answer your question, I was beat down because I was so on the ground level. To keep it real with you, after I got out of the restaurant business, at least the day-to-day heavy operations side, I actually went to corporate America. You always think grass is green on the other side.
Tell them that, Zach, because the entrepreneurship, you're going to have those times where it don't work out, and you got to go to a 9-to-5. You got to go to a corporate job. Because people think you can just skip over that. You can't.
No. This is 2 parts to it. The first part is, this is just the simple math. Yeah. Like, if the check is not adding up, you got to do what you got to do to feed your family. Now, with that being said, you can still do a corporate America job, but be entrepreneurial on it.
On the off hours. While you're doing it too.
Some of these companies are actually hiring you to say, hey, bring that entrepreneurial spirit, bring that creativity, the things you
bring that mindset.
Totally. The things you did in your business that made you successful, how can you work for this company and make them successful? Yeah. So they want to, I don't want to say pimp, but they
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
They want to pimp you out.
So how you have to kind of make the playing field level is like, okay, I'm working this job. I know I've got a great mindset, and I'm bringing creative ideas that maybe they haven't thought of, which enables me to close deals that they couldn't get. Yes. But what structure do they have that I can incorporate on my business whenever I do go back out?
Absolutely.
So essentially, that's what I did. I worked first for a pharmaceutical company called AstraZeneca. Yeah. I told my mama, first legal drug dealer in my family, right? and then after that, I worked for as a business director for a tech company, essentially selling market research to tech companies.
But I feel like
those two experiences, kind of the structure of those.
Come on, I was just about to say
help me for residency.
Yes.
When I say the structure, communicative skills, right? Obviously, cold calling. Just simple sales numbers, right?
Conference call meetings.
Totally.
All that,
and how do you kind of give that team and that management experience to people under you when you do start your own business, and even your partners? How do you work with them and show them things? Planning,
colleagues, and
right?
Stuff like that.
So that's the corporate companies haven't figured out a structure or a game plan, what I call a process that maybe the mom and pop businesses haven't.
Yes.
Mom and pop, you don't go no higher than mom and pop.
Yeah.
But in a corporation, it's the
always
total
looking to
pole
expand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you pull things from that, and that's what I did. And I basically in 2019, I didn't know pandemic was coming.
Yeah.
But I bet on myself, and I was like, man, I've tried corporate America for 6-7 years. I've been successful. But it's just not in my blood. I mean, it's not what I want to do, and not what
and
I
not that it's a knock on it.
Not
either.
At all. Not
Come on,
at
I tell
all.
people all the time, like people think that when I do a message and say, look, because I worked in sales before I got to what I said. I got to follow my dream. And like you said, you got to invest in yourself and you got to bank on yourself.
Totally.
Because at the end of the day, no one's gonna look out for you like you.
At all. And that actually what I told my boss my last day when I quit my last job. He was like, well, should I give any I was like, nah, man, I'm never gonna be you working for you.
Yeah.
And that's not a diss to you, but I'm never gonna be what you making.
And that's crazy. See, it's the same situation. Like when I got out of my sales job, I went to Orlando for Comcast. I worked for Comcast. I was a sales director. And my guy was like, you sure you want to leave this job to go follow your dreams of being, and he was like, I don't want to make you a DJ. I'm like, yeah. I said, you know why? Because I'll never be over you. And if I do, you're going to be bad blood if I sell more than you. You know what I mean? So I figured if I could sell Comcast, I could sell myself.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that's why
because low key what they buying is you.
They buying us.
They're buying you, right. Even though you might have on that uniform or whatever that position is, but they in love with Cisco. You just happen to be selling Comcast.
And I told that all the time. He was a director at Comcast. I left to go follow my dreams of doing, podcasting. And all of a sudden, he was laid off the month after.
Man.
He came to one of the festivals I was doing. He was like, man, you made the right decision.
Totally.
And that just kind of made me feel like, man, you never know when a corporate company is going to lay off people.
At all, man.
When a pandemic is going to hit.
Totally.
You got to always be ready. And if you don't ready yourself as yourself, you're no telling what's going to happen
at
out
all,
there.
man. That's why I encourage even people that's working, man, always have that plan B and be working. Really, that's your plan A.
The escape plan. You always have to have the exit route.
Totally.
Because if something don't work out, and because trust me, if you can't go to work, they're going to get somebody that can just fill in for you right when you leave.
Immediately. They don't care nothing about you. As soon as the sales numbers go down a little bit, man.
Exactly. Okay, we got to get another guy up in here. So you're always replaceable there.
Bet.
So you're doing the corporate jobs are done. What's the next step before? So we get into the residency part.
So anyway, I'm from Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And when I was in the restaurant business, I met my current partner, Residency. He's from Vegas. His name is Angelo Seppi. And he was actually one of my customers at my chicken restaurant. He would come every day.
Wow.
And we sold fried chicken. So Angelo, you got to know him. He's loved to death, but he's picky. So and I get it. You can't eat fried chicken every day. So I'm always been on the ground level. Even if I'm the CEO, boss, whatever, I'm always in tune with the streets and in tune with what customers want.
Yes.
I feel like if you're an absentee owner, and I'm not saying you got to be at, your chicken spot every day, working 12 hours a day, but you have to be in tune with your customers. So long story short, we met at the chicken restaurant years before we started residency, and he was like, man, I love this stuff, but I'm on a diet, man. I can't eat this fried chicken every day. You got some broccoli, some veggies.
You got a salad.
Right. So anyway, we didn't have no broccolis or veggies, but we had grilled chicken, and, my homeboy owned the Chinese spot next door, so I went next door, got him some broccoli. I made it. I'm a hustler.
You made it do what it do.
I sell chicken, but if you order a pizza, I'm going to bring you a pizza, Cisco, and be like, it's a chicken pizza.
Absolutely.
Right? So anyway, that's how Angelo and I met. And we just hit it off, and we just essentially became friends. And so, long story short, I moved to San Diego probably 3 years before he moved to LA.
Got it.
So we used to meet up kind of like all the time, go to Laker games. Like, hey man, you from Vegas? I'm obviously I met you in Vegas. And anybody tell you if you ain't from the West Coast, you out here. Yeah. This is a culture shock. When you go to that pump,
man,
that gas in Cali been $6. I know people tripping now. Gas is $6, but that gas in San Diego was $6 in 2013. Like
you go to gas stations now, you're like, does it come with a happy ending? Because this is what I'm paying for. This is ridiculous.
So anyway, Angelo just broke down to me one day, and he was like, man, how you doing it? What's going on? Like, I see you doing your thing. Obviously, you got your great job. Like, but I told him, Angelo, I said, honestly, man. Same thing. If you're relying on one stream of income, you crazy, bro. So like, I don't know what we kind of can do together, but let's start to talk. So he's like, man, well, I have an idea. He had a huge background in fashion and retail. And so, people come to me all the time, Cisco, with shit. Like, how do I invest my money in your dream?
How do I bubble up this?
Right. So I'm like, all right, man, let's see. Here we go again with this shit. And so you're doing good. Now we go. Exactly. So anyway, he's
on a whole other avenue now.
So anyways, I say, okay, you come to me with a product. Come to me with a product. If I like it, I can't promise you nothing, but what I can promise you is I know I can get it in the right people's hands if it's dope.
Exactly.
And so he took me up on it, which most people don't. You know, I say do your homework, and nobody does the homework.
Exactly.
He did the homework, came with a dope product.
Well, before we go on, tell people about that. The homework is intricate.
It's crucial because if you're not showing me you got a horse in the race, why do I care about your dream? And it may be a great idea, but great ideas come all the time.
And that's a filler for you. If you're not going to do the homework, why would I want to work with you if you're not doing it?
And this is the basic step.
Yes.
And the step that you pitching me.
Yeah.
You pitching me, you got a product, well, show me the product.
But you don't want to do the homework.
Not at all. So
you try to take the escalator, you don't got to take the stairs.
Not at all, right? So unlike 99.9% of people, he took me up on it and came with a great product. First hat was actually an LA hat that he created. And I said, man, this is awesome. So, I kind of did some soft intros, like, if I know you, Cisco, put the table, see what you think. And, people.
Because it's the market is so competitive.
Totally.
Like when we first met, I was like, bro, you're in a hat game where New Era and all these people are like taking over the game.
Literally.
It's an uphill climb for you.
Totally.
Definitely.
So anyway, came with a product, got it around some people. Salt just left it on the table, didn't even really say nothing. And you just see people gravitating towards like, man, what's this? And so I said, okay, now I know I got something because some of these people are really, really picky. Yeah. And they grabbing stuff that, this ain't even no name brand. And I saw them grabbing. And so I said, okay, well, now let me take the step further. And I really started kind of reaching out to big people to get in their hands.
This is when the experience starts to kick in. This is when everything that you just went through coming full circle right now. Let me put all that into the game and let me do it this way because of what I just learned. Yeah.
And so it started out literally as, a side hustle, kind of a hobby project. And then I think it just forced our hand with the feedback that we got from people. So that's how it kind of, the very, very stages
grassroots
of it.
Yeah.
Of course, how did we come up with the name? How did all those other things came along around? But that was the initial, how we had the conversation.
So you guys started off a LA hat.
We did. First was LA. So our first 3 cities were LA, Vegas, and San Fran.
Got it.
We picked Vegas, obviously, because we all had
And those are 3 markets like, come on, LA is like, you go to LA, you go down to the swap meet or something, there's like 30 different LA 100%. Hats. So for you to sit, there's a way that you have to get into these markets strategically.
Totally. So kind of the point we've learned too, when we first started, we said, oh man, we're just going to do big cities. Yeah. But what we learned, you have to have fan bases and people that actually wear hats.
LA, Vegas,
San Fran,
and San Fran
were our first 3. Like you go in the New Era store right now, or Liz store, if the Colorado Rockies hat might be there if they win the World Series, but pretty much you're looking at the same.
And it's all geographical as well too.
True, but you're looking at the main 6 hats. You're looking at Boston, you're looking at New York, San Fran, LA, and maybe 1 or 2 others, maybe a Texas, right? Yeah. But like it's the same kind of hats on the shelf.
Or Seattle Mariners hat or something like that.
Something like that. But
the
main markets, to your point, don't change.
Got it.
People, LA is what it is.
So you guys took the first 3 right off the bat.
We did. Just because we wanted to give people some options, they kind of say, hey, okay, maybe, you like this, you don't like that. And obviously get some different logos. And to be super transparent with you, a lot of it with Angelo is just like when he gets a logo. So Angelo is the person handles all the design, the fit, everything you physically love about the hat is him. So he's a picky motherfucker. Yeah. And he ain't rushing no product. Yeah. If he don't love it, God
so
bless
is there
you.
like is there like a thing where you guys are sitting in and be like, hey, I like this, I don't like that?
So we take like vision from everything. Like we basically have a meeting like how we doing. Okay, so say we're gonna launch San Fran. Everybody has an idea, right? We come to the table. What do we think? What do we like? We look for inspirations. I mean, we drink, we chill, we watch movies. It's literally like just like
vibe. You trying to get the vibe.
Try to get the vibe going. And then we give Angelo little pointers what to do. But at the end of the day, he gonna stroke that pen and he's gonna make that logo whatever he feels is the inspiration. But we do give him insight. Then after that, obviously there's a legal process and all that stuff to make sure that nobody got this logo.
Exactly.
So all that stuff, because once you start
all the copyright stuff, right, look too similar.
So that's after the fact. But before we even get there, the design stage is crucial. Because like I said, if he don't love it, he ain't dropping it. And I respect it. And we've gotten so much positive feedback from people like, look, man, this is a genuine quality product, and they truly appreciate it. So. Like Miami, we just launched Miami. It took them 2 years to get that Miami.
Come on.
I'm from Florida. I had so many people on my ass about that.
Because you would think that would be the first one on the list.
Man, tell me about it.
Because when Angelo was saying, oh, let's do LA, Vegas, you're like, hold on, what about?
He couldn't find it. I'm from Florida. I had people calling me like, look, bro, what you in Bay Area? You forgot where you from?
Like, hey, hold up. I know there's a Florida one in there somewhere.
Exactly. And so that he finally got it. But I mean, it was a hit. I mean, and it's already in the Dolphins team store. Raheem Morris's wear it. River Craycraft, all them guys have already rocked with it. So you can just see like people just naturally gravitating towards it, man.
And before we get into the relationships you guys have and how they got that out, so this is how I came about it. People like if you see the fit of the hat, it's not your normal new era hat. It's not so, everyone is so used to those hats.
Correct.
So when I first came across the hat, I was like, oh no, I don't wear those like the dad hats, or I don't wear those kind of hats. I didn't give it a chance right at first.
Yeah.
So at first, that's the mentality. I thought that's the mentality of everybody. Every consumer out there, they're so used to new era, Liz, how it's supposed to look. I said, you know what? Let me just not be like everybody. And that was me kind of just saying, let me step outside the box.
So what you're talking about is influence.
Yes.
And the influence is like you pick people like Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Right? If you can actually, yes, there obviously is the norm, and 90% of the people are going to go with whatever has been thrown at them for years. But if you can change that switch, that tide.
Come on, Zach.
And that's essentially what, like you say, people like Trent did and yourself.
So when I had seen Trent Williams
literally
wear this hat on a press conference, I said, look, if it could fit Trent big ass head,
100%.
That's the first thing I said.
That's how people think.
Because I'm like, look, Trent, come on, we big dude. Trent got a big head. I said, that hat on his head, and it looked dope.
Totally.
And I said, okay, you know what, let me get it. And this is before I even met you, before I even knew what the company was. I had went to, and I said, where's his hat? Everyone's in the comments. Trent had did a press conference for the Niners, and he had the red hat with the white SF. And I said, dude, everyone. So before we even continue, let me just tell you, San Fran is a bad word to people from San Francisco, because we call it Frisco.
Okay.
So everyone's going to be like, oh, you didn't check him on the San Fran, did you?
Correct to be, man. Like I said, I'm from Tampa, Florida.
So I got him,
I don't mean no harm, y'all.
I got him, fellas. So I told him it's Frisco, but a lot of people don't agree with Frisco either. It all depends on what the age group is. But back to what we're talking about, Trent Williams had wore the hat at the press conference. And I was like, dude, I have to have that hat. Which I seen everybody in the comments at the time was like, hey, where'd you get the hat? So I had actually seen somebody had tagged Residency. So I went to Residency, I bought the hat, right?
Done.
And I put it on, and people were like, hey, where'd you get the hat? At that time, I want to be as exclusive as Trent is. So you don't want to tell where you got your hat from. Oh, don't worry about it. You know, I got a little something going on. And me being such a San Francisco dude, like I am all about San Francisco. I was in Long Beach all the way to San Francisco. So California has been my thing. But San Francisco, I'm a huge Niner fan. So when I had seen Trent do it, I kind of seen everybody trickle in where I had the hat. I was like, I got to buy another one. I got to buy another one. Long story short, it goes back to my cousin Brandon Manu. He played for the Rams, and we went to a suite.
There you go.
We go to the suite. It was the Niners versus the Rams game. The suite that we were going in, mind you, you had to wear Rams gear.
Yeah, you did. You was bold on that one, Cisco. I wore a Rams jersey that day.
So this is the funny story.
That one, Cisco.
My cousin Brandon, he said, hey, you guys can't go in there with this Niner stuff. And I said, look, Brandon, I don't care who's in there. We going in there with this Niner stuff. He said, dude, I could get it. And I always put, my cousin Brandon, I always put his back to the wall.
Totally.
I'm talking, we had like Jackie Slater. You had like legends. This is the legend suite.
Ricky Prohl, everybody was in there.
Ricky Prohl was up in there. So we get there, and Brandon has the first 3 seats in the suite. It's the first seat that looks out to the field. I go in there with my red Residency hat. Everybody's in there, and I'm kind of looking around, and I'd seen you and your partners looking and pointing at me. First of all, I said, okay, these motherfuckers want to do some things.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that, you know, so a couple things going on. First of all, like I said, this obviously you in the Ram suite with the hat on. So just the balls are doing that. Because like I said, we didn't even have now and again.
You had an old Aaron Donald jersey on.
We do have LA products, don't get me wrong. So it was what it was. But just that, and obviously, you know, the way you was rocking it, you know, you swagged out. I was like, man, this dude got to be somebody. And so I was like, man, who is this dude? You know, and so this is the type thing where you, like I said, when you make products where people wear, now I've coming from both businesses. You cook a chicken sandwich, people eat it. Oh man, the sandwich was dope. They go home, they go about their business, but you don't really know. But when you put an outfit, a fashion together, and somebody puts their fit together, and how they feel with that fit on, like how you felt. You left that house today with that hat on, and you didn't care if
everything was to match that hat,
right? And so you weren't taking that hat off. It's just how that piece of fashion made you feel. Honestly, it's truly humbling, and it makes me just feel proud about a product that we put on the streets that people enjoy wearing and ain't taking off no matter.
No, and it was crazy because when I had met you guys in the suite, everyone ran out and you had said, oh, you know, we introduced ourselves to each other.
I couldn't keep staring at you. I told you, like, Cisco, sir, I don't even want to keep staring at you. Like, I don't need no harm.
I had told Brandon, I said, who's this dude that keeps staring at me in the back?
I just want to just thank you for buying, rocking on our brand.
And that goes back to what the organic and the humbleness of it is, because I was a fan of the product.
Totally.
And I was telling like my boy Brandon that I was there with my other my old business partner. He's in fashion, and he was like, dude, where'd you get that hat from? And I was like, dude, I've been following this company. This is before we even met. And I'm telling him this at the football game. He said, why do you keep wearing that hat? And mind you, if you know my Brand One, shout out Brand One, he does a lot of fashion. He's real intricate about, fashion.
Totally.
So he was like, but you don't even wear those kind of hats. Yeah, mind you, he's always devil's advocate.
100%.
So he was like, but you don't even wear those kind of hats. How come you didn't wear a Niner hat? And we were having this conversation as you guys were behind us, and then Brandon was like, my cousin who played for the team, he said, I don't care what the hat is, you ain't supposed to have that on in here. And I said, man, bro, it's different. It's something that we were talking about it during the game. And, you know, we weren't supposed to cheer when the Niners did something good. Yeah. Oh, my ass was cheering. Hey, Ricky Prohl was like, oh, he's pretty bold, this guy. So I was in there, we're talking, and then I had turned around to you, and that's when we had met. And you had said, hey, man, I appreciate you wearing the hat.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I figured you was a fan of the hat as well.
Nah, man.
When you had told me this was your company, I went back to my business partner, Brandon. I said, dude, the owner of Residency, the company, is back there in the same suite. 100%. So it came full circle because, bro, it was like it had to be fate for us to meet that day.
100%.
Because even before I had even got with you, I was buying 3-4 hats because I wanted the crispy one every time. I wanted what new color they came out with. And mind you, if you know me, I come from somewhere I get free stuff all the time. I got companies giving me free stuff all the time. So, you a walking bill, but where it is. This was something I actually bought. And my boy Brandon, he was like, bro, you bought that hat? He's like, you don't buy nothing. And I'll tell you, I don't buy nothing. I'm talking about ourselves like, bro, I bought it because I'm a fan of this hat.
I appreciate it.
It's crazy that this dude, Zach, I just met, he owns his company.
There you go.
So it was crazy. I said, bro, I live in Vegas. Now you were like, bro, me too. So we exchanged contacts and we had hit it off.
That's it. From day one.
Came back to Las Vegas. I had hit you up and you're like, hey, I got this restaurant, Cubana Dive.
Came through. I think you even eaten there before and didn't know it was
I ate there before. And you was like, come to my restaurant. And I was like, wait, which restaurant? He was like, the Cuban. I was like, if you tell me it's the one on Easter, I'm going to be pissed. And he was like, yeah, that's my restaurant. I was like, hold up. I done paid for these sandwiches. I done paid for the hat.
And then make it even further, when you got to the restaurant, my mama was there and she said, hey, he could be our cousin.
And then I met Mama.
He looked like one of us. I was like, man, come on, Cisco.
I knew when I came to meet you and I met Mama that I knew this was something I wanted to be behind because 100%. It had the family aspect.
Totally.
You know, we Mama's boys, so I'm a Mama's boy myself. So when we had met,
and she was just coming for a free meal. Don't worry. I saw that. And she just wanted her free sandwich. She's like, you gonna get one of Cisco, you damn sure get one of me. I'm on my way.
I said, when we had met there, I had said, you know what, this can't be no better of a fit for what I'm doing because in San Francisco, I'm real influential in San Francisco. So I said, bro, I don't know what other stuff you got going on, but I know for San Francisco, this is something I can do. I've been buying these. You know what? Here, take a couple of these hats. And I was starting to get colorways from Zach that nobody had.
Yeah, I was giving you the first
I was getting them before the players were getting them.
100%.
So when I started wearing them, I went to a couple of the Niner games and I knew people that worked, Jesse Sapolu. They was like, hey, where'd you get that hat from? And I was like, bro, it's crazy. This Zach is a friend of mine that, you know, and we haven't even done business, nothing. And I was just saying, Zach, bro, I'm a fan of it. And that just shows you guys that keep doing your brand because you never know who's going to wear it. You never know who's going to support it without you even having to force feed them that.
Totally. Like they always say, the harder you work, the luckier you get, man.
Come on, man.
A lot of times that happens. And people who are hustlers, and they embrace that.
Oh, game recognized game.
Exactly. You working, you trying, and you're just a genuine person. And at the end of the day, if it's a dope product, you don't have to force it on people. Like you said, you was already buying, but just when you can see that dope product with the work ethic behind it, like you go, of course.
And that's what I want people, that's why I brought you on the show. I wanted them to kind of see what your story was.
For sure.
Because I get asked all the time, when I wear these in festivals, when I wear these, you know, I have like my boy who normally does my management, he's like, bro, you know you could wear a hat that you could be getting paid for. You know what I mean? 100%. I was like, bro, I like how
I appreciate that loyalty too. I thought I've told you that offline, man, but you don't find that nowadays, man. So that just speaks to your character as a person and your spirit. And I truly appreciate that, man. And obviously I can't express that enough, bro.
It came
because I know all of that. You know, I know you get I know all of those things, man. And just your loyalty from day one has just been unparalleled, man.
And it's crazy because now my kids wear the hats. Yeah. My son's like, hey, Dad,
they stole a couple hats. I had to replace
Hey, they came to my house in Vegas and they had left and I went back to say, wait, where's my residency? Where's the exclusive colorway that I just had? And I called my son and said, hey, where's that? He was,
he on the road. I got you.
You can get another one, Dad. I said, look, see, my kids are spoiled, Zach. My kids are spoiled. So he was like, oh, Dad, I thought you could just get another one. I was like, that's not the point. You took this hat I was about to wear that I probably can't get for a couple weeks. So it just shows that because I was doing, you know, your sons are always going to follow what Dad does.
Totally.
But when my friends started seeing it, because my friends and my brothers, they're huge Niner fans. So when I started going to the tailgates and stuff like that, people were like saying, oh, man, I like that hat. It was like domino effect. My brother started saying, bro, why do you keep wearing this hat? Wear a Niner hat. And I was like, everyone wears a Niner hat. You know, at that point, not that I was being an advocate for the brand, but I was kind of telling them another story, was like saying, you don't got to follow the pact.
At all.
I'll say you don't always got to follow the pack, because if you do something on your own, you could be a trendsetter. I felt in my clique at that point in time, I was the trendsetter.
Totally.
Because I wore it, then I started to see people at the mall. People, hey man, I love that hat. I got the same one.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, look, let me get with Zach, because this goes too far hand in hand.
Totally.
But now you into other teams, like you've been seeing George Kittle, Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the Niners.
Yeah, literally, man. So that's what's been.
And tell us how
crazy.
that whole thing came about.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things where I feel like everybody, to your point, right? Like everybody wants, maybe everybody don't want to be that first person, but once you get that pack rolling, everybody wants to be a part of that pack. I think, just kind of to compliment us as a brand, we've done a great job servicing people.
Yes.
So like how you kind of felt that, I was giving you exclusive drops. I was hitting you up. Like I'm big on customer service.
Yeah.
I'm big on loyalty, and I'm big about not forgetting people. So I feel like, let's say when Trent Water had one time, I kept, lacing Trent, make sure he was straight. A lot of times people, this just goes to people watching, if you just service your business, it's just like you okay, they bought the sandwich, but you don't check on them and see if they need a refill. Maybe they want a to-go bag. Maybe they'll buy some extra stuff to go home, but you don't even talk to the people. So, they bought one thing and you leave it alone. It's just that constant catering to your customer
service is so huge, and you got to tell them that, because if you don't cater to the customer, you're doing yourself and your brand a disservice. Because you want them to have that organic feeling about your product.
Exactly.
Not this force-fed, feeling.
No.
That's why when Trent Williams is wearing, now it's like, if you're a fan of the game, Trent has it on press conferences. George Kittle. Everybody. Kyle Shanahan. It started going down the line. I would hit you. Come on, bro.
So one thing I would do too, like, I'm it comes from sports. Like I said, I never played pro, but all these different experiences in my life, I kind of put into a bag, and I use this as like the Zach King bag I pulled from. Almost like all these experiences have made me, good or bad, right? So you take, for example, like, I'm looking at people. I'm looking if you got dreads. I'm looking to see what kind of, like I told my business partners when Kittle was growing his hair, I'm like, man, we need to give Kittle a different hat.
R&D, research and development.
Like I'm looking at the type of stuff he's wearing. I'm in tune with my business, where I'm not just sitting dumping product on people. Right?
You're doing your research.
Exactly. And so
Kittle's hair's growing out. We got to get him a bigger hat.
There you go. Or a different hat, or a hat that he can tie up, or something that's a little more exclusive. If somebody likes beanies because they got dreads, like I'm looking at everything, like what are these people rocking their daily life that they're paying for? And then now how do I apply that to kind of cater to them? And then on top of that, just the constant service. I don't want people like, damn, the sister, like, down did us. I ain't heard from Zach in a while.
No.
Like, I never want you to feel that way. Now, of course, do I miss people? Are we perfect? No. I'm not Santa Claus. I can't send a hat to everybody, but I just want to make sure that people feel like, hey, I ain't forgot about you.
No, absolutely.
And, at least I'm doing what I can to service you.
I think that goes a long way, especially with the way you handle your business. Residency that I've seen that you've grown since I've been a fan. You've grown to other teams. You did George Kittle's tight end camp. You see Brandon Ayuk with the beanie. Like, it's so many different
Ramsey
things.
on the round.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey. And it's like, it goes full circle where, as a fan, you think you're already in the mindset. I thought the players had to wear what they had. Now they just have this whole thing where they're wearing Zach shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, how do you get to those relationships as far as saying the Niners? Now you're in Atlanta. Now, how do you get those relationships?
So, the relationship you break down is several different levels, right? The first thing is, like I said, the service, catering to people and knowing what they want to know. Something as simple as like, I'm not forceful. I'm not pushy. You got,
man, say that again, because people think that's the way is the Bible.
Like I'm servicing you, but I'm not annoying you. And I'm not asking, like, I ain't asking for game tickets. I ain't asking for a free jersey. Like, look, man, I just want you to enjoy my hat. You don't owe me nothing. And that's all I need you to do is just enjoy the product. And, if you wear it on a press conference, great. But if you just wear it on I want you to enjoy it.
People watch it. If you have a brand right now, people, let me just tell you, this is the way to go about the business.
It's just common sense.
And people all the time, bro, you got to wear this at the next festival.
You ain't got to do it.
I ain't got to do it. Goddamn thing.
Yeah, 100%. Well, but
that's the approach you got to do, especially brands. I'm telling you, what Zach is telling you guys is gold. And this is game that you don't have to tell people.
Totally, because so many of these people that especially on the aspect level, like I've never played pro, but I played, college and high school. Everything is so demanding. You got the offensive line coach on your ass. You got your mom on your ass. You got your old lady on your ass. You got your kid. Like, you go, everybody wants something from you. And, it's just like exhausting. So I just show up and say, like, look, man, what do you need from me? I don't need you to do nothing.
I don't need to put no more stress on your plate that you already don't got already.
Enjoy the thing. And I think that comes off as, genuine. And I honestly mean that. Like, I just want this to be something enjoyable that they love, and it's not forced. And so many times when I pull up, like Darren Waller's a great example. Anytime I pull up on him or I see him, he's got the hat on. Like, sometimes he don't even know I must be there or see him. We bumped into him at Tight End U. He got a hat on. So it just shows you that people organically love the product. You know, it's not like I'm calling them, hey, Darren, I'll be there in 5 minutes, you know, swap the hat out, right? Like they just, this was their outfit for the day. How many times I bump into you, like even in the suite?
Exactly.
That was your outfit for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you a big dude. I'm gonna force you to wear the hat. Come on, man. So like, you know, let people do their thing, and then I don't come at them with petty or pity favors. It's like, look, this is just a great product, and if you want to rock it, you rock it. And if you don't, you don't. And it ain't no hard feelings either way. And but regardless, if you do enjoy it, I want you to feel service.
Yeah.
And then that's what I think we go for. And I think that trickles down. And just a time and a place.
Yeah.
You know, just knowing when to approach people, when not to. I think, you know, to a certain extent, you do have to be persistent. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you, you know, like I said, I was trying to hit Trent Williams up 2 years before he wore the hat.
Got it.
So, you know, there is some level of persistence, but it's not an annoying.
It takes persistency where it's not. You just said
it's not annoying.
Where it's not an annoying persistence.
Correct. Because in the day, it's Trent. He might be busy. You know how many people in his DM.
And you know how many people try to give him product as well.
Exactly. So it's like the man might be busy. The man. These are human beings. They might be going through a rough time.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't until I watched his documentary I really didn't know the extent of what he was going through with his cancer.
Yeah.
You know, but so what do I look like trying to force a hat on somebody? I never experienced.
Do your homework, people.
So it's things like that, man. I just feel like at the end of the day, people, and then when they meet me, kind of like they understand that same presence resonates. Like, look, man, hey, I'm just here. I'm not on no groupie stuff.
Exactly.
Like, look, I'm just like, look, this is me. I'm nice, pleasure to meet you. I'm so thankful. And we just chop it up and leave it at that. And now if you want, hey, well, Zach, I need a black, then now you come to me with a request.
Yeah.
Then of course that's different. Of course,
not as business.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but if you're just a person that has been grateful and just appreciative, man, I can't thank them enough, honestly.
Yeah. Like if you look at the roster right now, like we're talking about not just no-name players. We're talking about on the red you have Derek Carr, Darren Waller, probably all the Niners.
Yep.
But I'm saying these are relationships that are being built over time.
Totally.
That I think a lot of people that are trying to take shortcuts, there's a lot of homework you got to do before you can get to this status or level or where these players are wearing your product and not even being forced to win.
Not at all. And then also too being there for the people before they blow up.
Yes.
You know, like reaching out to people, right? Like you take River Craycraft, shout out to River down in Miami, but like I was, you know,
he was with the Niners first.
He was with the Niners, right? And you know, this is somebody who's grinded it out the long way. And that's what I think people respect. Like these people, you didn't get to the pros overnight.
Exactly.
You know, and then even when you get to the pros, it's a process.
Yeah.
And I think people understand, like, hey, this guy don't play football, but it's the same type of process he's doing with his hat business and just that level of service. And
you got to take care of those, like someone that has a brand would have came. Oh, I'm not going to give it to River Craycraft because
that's what I'm saying.
He ain't a starter.
I don't big time nobody.
Exactly.
So like if you go to Santa Clara, right? You'll see janitors wearing my hat. You'll see the guy at the guardhouse wearing my hat. You'll see just people walking around I don't even know. I don't big time nobody.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a charity. I'm not Santa Claus. I can't, you know, give hats. I talk to everybody.
Yeah. There's a thin line.
But I just don't want I just don't want people to ever feel like I'm trying to big time them, and I'm not.
Absolutely.
Right? And because I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
And if you were hustling and doing the work and taking the steps, hell, I'll give you all the game in the world, but you got to do it.
And I think that was the beauty of bringing you on the show.
Yeah.
And that we had talked before you even came on to the podcast. I said, bro, they need to hear your story.
Correct.
Only because I think people that kind of have their own assumptions of what the brand is.
Yeah.
Oh, he probably paid Trent to do that.
Nah, man.
I wanted them to hear your story on how.
And end of the day, man,
came back
you
like
saw
that.
Trent's contract.
Oh yeah.
What the hell could I pay Trent?
Come on, man.
138 million. He made 23 million a year. I mean, how much money y'all think I'm making?
I ain't gonna lie.
Right, like, and
after I seen him wear it, I said, hold up.
And money aside, Trent is so fashionable.
Yes.
You know, he wearing all these type of designers and brands. Like somebody like that who's in tune with fashion.
Oh man, Trent makes the big man. I'm so proud to be a big man with Trent.
Like even Jalen Ramsey, somebody that fashionable. How can you gonna force them to do something?
When they have stylists giving them Dolce & Gabbana and all this other stuff, you're like, hold on, they're wearing my hat?
Yeah.
And that's what I think the respect factor came for me, to see Trent, someone that's, you know, in his position, best tackle in the game,
100%.
signed with the Niners, and he got this hat that no one's ever seen.
Totally.
Well, we're so used to the Niner logo.
Totally.
We're so used to the new era and the lids and all that. And to see that kind of come full circle and come to fruition to meeting you, that came from me to being as a Niner fan and just being a fan of entrepreneurs.
Totally.
Would say, bro, I respect your grind because it's not just the hats. It's the restaurants. It's the, come on, and it is game recognized game at the end of the day.
Totally. With Residency, the Holy brand was initiated to represent every aspect of life. You local joker, you know, whether you're Trent Williams, whoever you are, you love your city. Yeah. That's all I care about.
Go back to that, because how did Residency the name come about?
So the Residency name came about. My partners, we actually were looking for a name, and shout out Rick Ross. That was when his album just dropped, and he had that song Vegas Residency. Yeah. And all of us kind of had ties to Residency, and we just loved our city, and we was like, man, you know, what about Residency? And then it was 3 of us, so we said, well, you know what? Let's just swap that second E for a 3, right? It just kind of represent cities, and like that's what we want to do, you know. Because anytime you ask somebody where they're from, you know, they start a little smile or something. You know, where you from? Oh, I'm from here. You know, you can just see it in their eyes, a little magic in their eyes. And so, you know, that's what I kind of wanted to touch on, was just representing those cities, and then giving people different fits and different color variations. Yeah. You know, maybe you love San Fran, and hey, you know, you're not a sports person. Yeah. What do you wear? Like, what color options do you have? Or maybe
what colorway are you wearing?
Maybe you like where I'm from in Florida, people have every damn color. Yeah. Right? They might
just to match the outfit.
Right. They might be.
It could be any team.
Totally.
As long as it matches the outfit.
Totally. Yeah. So that's what I kind of wanted to play on too, the color variations of just giving people different options, and obviously it resonated. But this brand was all about just representing your city. Yeah. And if you love your city or love where you're from, you're my customer. So now, you know, obviously, you know, when you get people, ball players in hats, it kind of like comes off, oh, this is a football brand. And not to say, you know, we don't appreciate those people in the hats, but this brand is for everybody. Yeah. And so now what we're trying to start to do from a marketing standpoint is really just show people the different aspects of life. So I think we got a hat right here I wanted to show you guys. This is our hat that we did with Acer, Predator Gaming, right? And this was a hat like for gamers. We found like a lot of customers were actually, you know, playing games and wearing our hats. So I reached out to Acer and I was like, man, you know, why can't we do something together with a gaming collaboration?
Absolutely.
You know, where like customers, you know, when they're rocking their hat, you know, they can rep their city, but also, you know, we literally had a picture of Max Crosby at the NFL draft here in Vegas, you know, wearing an LV hat playing a game. So I'm like, man, this is, a lot of our customers are gamers.
And that's crazy because the gaming community is huge.
Totally.
And they're just as much as influencers as sports athletes.
100%, man.
So they see a gamer wearing this hat like, oh, okay, the gamers, you know, demographic, I want to wear that hat too. Exactly. It's just like sports.
100%.
And you guys kind of tapped into that thing. It's like, okay, and that's your entrepreneurship going off again.
Right.
Saying, look, we can get into gaming as well.
Right, but it's all inclusive. I don't want you to feel excluded. Yeah. Right? Like if you don't know nothing about sports, I got a hat for you. If you love sports, like I just want everybody to feel, as long as you love your city, this is for you.
And let me just say, there's a Vegas hack for everybody that, look, I probably shouldn't tell y'all, but the Vegas hat is this. If you go to a Vegas club, you cannot wear sports hats.
Yep.
When I pull up with a residency hat, it's not a sports hat.
There you go.
It's a fashionable hat, and I go tooth and nail security. He's like, nah, it's a sports hat. I was like, bro, what sports team is it then?
There you go.
It's definitely not a Niner hat, bro.
100%.
So look, don't use that Vegas hack because some of y'all might get thrown out by your belt clip. Right. But I'm saying, if you want a good argument, I've been wearing these in the clubs all the time. Totally. And my boys be like, hey, you can't wear a hat. You can't wear a sports hat. It's not a sports hat.
There you go.
It's a residency hat.
And that's what we're trying to do. Like just all aspects of life, man.
And that name though, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, because we were talking about that.
Right. So, you know, the residency, obviously you get the people of the city.
Yes.
Then the second, to your point, you get the DJs.
Yeah.
You know, you got
resident DJs.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You got that. And then you got the aspect of just, hey, like, you know, how can we infiltrate all the different cities and all the different people in those cities? So that was our logic behind it.
The different colors is what makes it too, because you had gave me a SF one. It was Raider colors, which I would never wear, but it's in my collection. Yeah. But people have Raider fans that are from San Francisco.
There you go.
That I had wore it on one of the podcasts, and somebody was like, "Oh, you was wearing a Raider hat." I didn't even realize it. Bro, every Raider fan that I know, because I'm big, we go back and forth, Fiji and everybody, we go back and forth on social media, but they're like, where can we get that Raider SF hat?
There you go, better holler at Cisco.
Come on, man.
Holler at Cisco. You better steal it like your son did. That's
I said, look, you guys can have that hat, but it just shows the intricacy of what you guys are doing.
Totally.
The residency was genius.
Yep.
Like I was talking to Common Kings, their name was Not Too Soul, then they came into Common Kings, and that would just resonate with everybody. Mm-hmm. Was there a name before residency?
No, it wasn't, man. It was one of those things. A lot of our stuff that we do is honestly organic, and just when we know, we know. Yeah. Like I told you, it took 2 years to do Miami, but when we knew it, we knew it. It's just one of those things, man. Like, when I encourage people, follow your heart, go with your move, go with your gut instinct. If you really feel passionate about something, like, man, just rock with it. So that's what we do, and that's how it came about. This hat right here is a hat that we're giving away on the live streams for the gaming. So basically, you know, obviously you got to tune in to the YouTube channel and see all that, but they actually, you know, did that too.
Come on, and this one right here, like you just said, this is a gaming hat, right?
Yeah.
But this right here, to a fashionable, the gold with the black, come on, man. Yeah, I'm wearing this to an event, to a red carpet event.
So you brought up a great point that a lot of the players said, right? Because I asked this question too. Like, you know, we do the research, and even when I hit a home run, I'm still like, well, was it a lucky home run, or was this really planned? And what a lot of people tell me, they said, look, man, you know, like take somebody like Trent. I want to wear something I can dress up and dress down.
Come on, man.
I can wear it to a nightclub, but I also can wear it on the practice field.
And you can wear it to a game.
I can wear the interview, right? So I can't go to a nightclub wearing a team issued 49er gear.
Yeah.
right?
Come on.
Right,
not the team issue.
Right, they just threw it in my locker. But I can wear this to a nightclub. I can wear this stepping out. So that's kind of where it resonated and how we kind of what we're just learning about what people are looking for.
Bro, seeing this brand grow from what it is now. Residency, man, has definitely been something that I've been talking to. You know, I got Sav's brand and a lot of brands that I deal with, and they've seen the growth of yours. And it's just good to see all my friends' brands flourish.
Totally.
Because it's like, it's something that I feel like I've been there from grassroots. Like when you first started, and through any brand, what's next for the brand?
So for us, like I said, the first thing is all aspects of life.
Yeah.
And I'm talking literally old people in hats.
All walks of life.
I'm talking anybody, right? Anybody that likes a hat is our customer. That's number one. Number two, aligning with great other brands.
Yeah.
And great ambassadors like yourself, right? Like how do we align with those people? So we do have a couple cool things going on with Nike and Marcus Mariota.
Come on.
We've been doing a custom hat with him for his foundation in collaboration with Nike. Obviously, we have the product with Acer Gaming. I don't know if y'all saw about 2 months ago, I did something at Chick-fil-A with AJ Terrell.
Yeah, that's
Eric
right,
Harris.
that's right. The whole Chick-fil-A
So
thing.
just, going back to that, how do we, touch on every aspect of life? Literally doing that. You can't just say, I want every aspect of life. No, man, we're doing it. We're trying to breaking these things down, finding other products people like, other brands people like that are reputable, that obviously are classy and stand for what we stand for, and kind of just, working down with that. So I think that's next. And I also think too, man, just showing different things. Obviously you and I, we're both guys, but even with women, putting a lot of different women in products.
Come on, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of women been trying to take the hat.
No, for sure. And like I said, just definitely just empowering women and entrepreneurs and business people and showing people that, right? And like doing video shoots and content shoots with women in a classy light. You don't have to be, butt naked to be a model, right? Like you can be.
There's a way to do it.
Totally, there's a way to do it classy, represent yourself in a nice way, and at the same time, right? Like how do we empower people to show you, hey, you can do this, right? You don't have to be a guy to do this, right? This is just hustle and game.
It's unisex at this point. It's a unisex hat.
So I think that's huge for us. And then like obviously there's a give back piece. We started this company right before pandemic, so in a lot of ways we weren't able to go outside and do different charitable events, but that's something that we've started to do. And we'll continue to do, just to kind of give back to the community. I don't want to be one of those brands where, hey, I done made all this money off the Bay Area. And, you ain't never see me in the Bay Area handing out a free salad.
And that's something I liked about you too, because you said, hey, I want to get into the Bay Area community with this. It wasn't just taking the name and running with it.
Not at all.
You wanted to do stuff in the community, which was big.
With people in the community, like yourself. Because what do I know? You know that area better than I do. And like I say, that's your hometown. So
and not a lot of companies do that though, Zach. Totally. That's why when you had said, hey, bro, you're a pillar in your community, I want to get involved with what's going on.
I think it just goes back from the areas that we come from. Yeah. Like I wouldn't go to nobody's hood without checking in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like Cisco, I'm gonna be here for 3 days. I'm checking in.
Let me go check in with the dude that I need to check in with.
Exactly. And so I think that's the thing too, just understanding, just common sense, man. Common sense, common courtesy. And like, look, I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes. If anything, I'm trying to shed a light and awareness to your city, but how can I help you? Like I said, I ain't Santa Claus, I'm not running a charity, but at the end of the day, if I could give back, if I can help somebody who wants to be helped, I'm more than willing to do that.
And that's what it's all about, because like I said, it goes back to why I wanted to bring you on here, why I wanted you to tell your story, because if people don't know that, they make up their own assumptions, which I hate.
That's life, man.
And that's life.
You're going to have people do whatever they want to do, and you can't help that. You don't let that stop you from doing your thing. But like I said, any entrepreneurs out there, man, like, hey, it's part of the process, man. You just have to understand that getting into it, like you could complain, but hey, this to a certain extent, you get what you ask for.
You get the good, but there's a lot of bad.
It is.
You got to go through a lot of struggle to get where you needed to be. And like you said, you went through a lot of struggle to get here.
And I think this, if to kind of touch on that, I think the hardest thing with any entrepreneur, especially it was harder for me, because keep in mind, I had already started businesses. So for me, it was like, man, y'all done seen what I can do. You really doubting me? But the reason why is because I'm in a different lane. I did a lot of stuff frying chicken. But I wasn't a fashion person. So like, you fry chicken, you don't sell hats. So even though I was an entrepreneur, I had to reinvent myself with that. I think I kind of tell my family and friends, it's almost like a baby. It's an infant stage. And you have to nurture that baby. And depending on that business is the baby, and depending on what people do or say, it can really affect the infant stages of that business, especially if those people are close to you. So I think that was hard, seeing people who I was close to me or didn't support me, or didn't believe, or didn't think I could do it. You try not to let it change. You try not to become bitter, but it is hurtful. And I think too, the other part of this that comes with this business that's hard that people don't understand is, especially from the outside looking in. They see Debo dancing. They see Jalen, whatever. They see Trent. Big Trent in the Ferrari with the hat on, and they don't understand. Like, okay, you know, the process that it's taken mentally, physically on me. Yeah. And there's the financial aspect of what it took to get there.
Come on.
You know, and so they think, you know, because, oh, well, how could you be going through hard times with Jalen wearing the hat?
Yeah.
You know, how could you
Tell them this
how
part,
could you
Zach.
ever have struggled? You know, Big Trent in the Ferrari. You know, what you talking about? You know, what you know about?
That's Trent's Ferrari. That ain't mine.
That's my point, right? And Trent worked for that. So props to him. But what I'm trying to say is they just think because it's a fashionable brand, and so many people are so caught up in social media that they ain't even worried about money. Yeah. It's a lot of people who just want a business for clout. Yeah. Or want a business just so they can, you know, shine or stun on people. They're not really looking at like, hey, I'm trying to create something profitable and sustainable. Yeah. You know, I could care less how many followers I have if nobody's buying these ads.
If nobody's buying it, right. You losing money.
That's the hardest part about this business because you are so in the limelight because it's fashion. You have to be. Yeah. People are going to buy with their eyes and they're going to buy with who influences them. And I think that's a huge thing that just was tough for me to understand. Even the people closest to you, man. Yeah. They will literally count your pockets before you can count them just because of what they seen on social media.
Trust me, Zach, man. I'm a millionaire to everybody who thinks I'm doing it.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's a sad, hard truth, man. Yeah. And even if you do make $1 million, you put so much time and effort in this, like, even $1 million wouldn't even break even, bro. For what the work, $1 million
ain't what $1 million used to be.
For the work you put in, right? If somebody cut you a check right now for $1 million, you done put 10 times that in work ethic.
Come on,
and the struggle,
alone,
totally,
which is priceless,
100%. Yeah. So I think that's the hardest part in it. You know, of course, you got like people ask me, oh, well, what about free product? Free product, I kind of. What I can't stand is if you ask for a free hat, never wear it.
Yes.
But the free product, I don't mind. I'm not going to give you free product for 100 years if you just, you know, you're not giving me anything.
Absolutely.
But I think a lot of ways that's marketing for me. So a lot of I don't penny pinch on free product because that's somebody wearing your hat who's, if they're fashionable, and if they really gonna wear it,
right?
You know the
not just to have it, just to have it.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Oh, Zach gave it to me. Yeah, exactly. He gave it to you, but you never wore it. So I think that's free product. I don't mind. Also, free product gets you into a door. So you take, you said, Brandon, are you right? So like this is a hat we did for him. I don't know if you can see, but we put the B and we put the 11.
Oh, that's dope.
So we made this custom for him. But to my point is like this: if I had never gave him a free San Fran hat or a hat,
this would have never came about.
Never would have came about. So like that's the thing too. You know, you can't be penny pinching and you can't be petty because all that stuff comes full circle. Yeah. And more importantly, the money aside, it speaks to your spirit.
Come on, man, take notes, people.
You count pennies on this. People like, well, you know, this man, I don't know, man. This man, you know, you penny pinching over here, but you losing dollars over there. And that's what people don't get, and just comes off cheap and it comes off whatever.
Come on.
And it's just not true to your word. Like I say, anything I tell people I'm gonna do, I try my best to do, man. And if I can't do it, you know, it's a main reason why I didn't. Okay.
Man. But in this social media world that we live in, how as an entrepreneur have you taken advantage of social media as your benefit to your product?
I'm gonna flip it to you.
Yeah.
So yes. So I've done everything. I've done all the social media steps, but you know what I didn't forget? I didn't forget the streets.
Come on, man.
So I did everything.
Say that again,
I did everything. Yeah, like I did everything. I got ads. I do marketing. I do all the.
But
I do all of that. But I'm still people think like this is the answer to everything, bro. Yeah. It's like people were millionaires before phone came out.
It's one aspect of it. Yes.
And to be honest with you, with the level of people that I deal with and work with and try to create relationships with, the pull-up game is so important.
Man, come on.
You could be a square in real life. Yeah. But if you just sitting here, like they want to see you.
And that's 90% of people that are out there doing brands. And they're not going to pull up in the streets.
Not at all. And they want, like, these people want to be like, damn, okay, Big Zach. Like, like, okay. Yeah. I'm with it. Like, I see the looks on their faces.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, when I pull up the locker rooms, like, man, this motherfucker sings. Yeah. Like, damn, you know we got practice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is this type of appeal I get. You know, but like, you know, and then don't get me wrong, like before pandemic, I had no choice, right? Like, how could I pull up to a locker room and, you know, they got COVID tests and everything. So we understand pandemic. But now that we out of that, man, y'all ain't got no excuse.
Come on.
What they gonna tell you? No. What they gonna tell you?
That's footwork that's not being done these days, bro.
And you practicing your pitch, you practicing everything. And I'm talking about, like, I take it to another. Let me just show you how stupid I am with it. Busy night in Vegas. Yeah. I got all my cars, they put residency on them. Y'all ride down the strip 3-4 times.
That's it.
Just something as simple as that.
You don't got to go nowhere. Just nothing. Ride up and down the strip.
Just ride show the residency van,
marketing
show the cars.
To its fullest.
Right, this is nothing.
Yes.
This is free. You got to ride anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mama, come on now. That car ain't free, mama. Do a lap around the strip one time.
Before you go to the grocery, mama, do a couple of laps
on your way to church. On your way to church. You know,
let the church house know what's
and
up.
Everybody ain't in church Sunday. You might see some people on the strip.
Oh, baby.
But it's just the thing, like, don't forget the streets. Don't forget the streets. Because not only do you have the relationships, but then you're in tune with what people are doing.
Because
I'm seeing what they're wearing.
Social media is one aspect of it. I think people are trying to skip over the other aspects of it. Pulling up, doing the marketing, doing the footwork.
This is just added plus.
Yes.
This is added plus and added convenience for people that want to buy.
Yeah.
Or people like, this is like almost validation. Like, okay, we saw Cisco wearing, oh, Cisco, where you got the hat? Okay, I got it from Residency. Boom. So they go there and then they just see, okay, now I see Trent, I see Waller, I see Max, I see everybody.
Now I see the story.
I see the story, but I first saw you. Yeah. So my point is, we saw you in the street. Yeah. Now this is just validation. And,
exactly.
And this is a way to purchase.
They're checking your resume.
Correct.
That's the resume for what they're seeing.
If they never saw it in the street, and I think that's crucial. So to answer your question from a social media standpoint, I do all of that. The only advice I would say, man, is just consistency and being persistent.
And that was my next question. What advice you did have
for the social media, man, I do anywhere from 80 to 100 cold calls a day. Yeah. Cold call can be an email, a phone call, could be a pull-up, could be just scouting around. It could be a DM. It could be a comment, but 80 to 100 cold calls a day. It's simple math. Like I tell people like this.
It's a numbers game.
You go to a club, right? You go to a club, it's a bunch of pretty girls in there. If you just talk to one pretty girl, man, hey, you know,
it's a number. Come on,
I don't know what your chances are gonna be.
It goes back to the wood,
right? But if it's 100 fine women in there, and you talk to 20 or 30, hey, man, you might you might have a better shot. I don't know. I don't know. I ain't been to the club in a while. I'm married.
It's a number. Chase, you see,
baby, I ain't been to the club all week. You see it right here.
Chase, but I'm just
being honest with y'all, man. Like if you want to hear a lie, you got the wrong person on the podcast.
No, absolutely.
But I'm telling you right now, bro. And people are so ashamed, like their ego won't allow them to be like, I failed. Their ego won't allow them to be like, man, they shut me down. Man, you know, I hit Cisco up last week and he ain't respond. Yeah. Man, Cisco might be busy. Man, Cisco don't know you.
But the persistency, you got to just say, hey, let me follow up with it because you don't know what people are going through.
And then Cisco looking at it like, well, damn, you only hit me at one time? Yeah. You know how many years it took me to get on the conference?
Come on.
Like, bro, you gave up after one? Damn, that's lame.
Zach, tell them.
So it's like,
they're taking the shortcuts.
That's the reality of it, man. And I think that's just crucial. And just being who you are. Now, when you do pull up, you got to be authentic. You got to be yourself.
Absolutely.
And you got to be on business time.
Come on.
And just sensitive to understand people's situation. Because they might
all
be
those little things, they mean something.
100%.
You guys don't know that people are watching that, but when you pull up to some place, you got to have the etiquette. You got to have the way you present yourself because yourself is a brand. And I say every time I can pull up, but if you got people pulling up drunk and smoking weed and shit like that, like, bro,
come on.
You got to know that in this game, you always are on display.
Totally.
At all times.
And your personal time, do whatever you want, but at the same time.
But when you're going to meet somebody and you want somebody to come up and come correct.
Because you never know who else you're going to meet. Like, I've been in rooms, right? Like, I'll go to meet Trent and boom, here go John Lynch.
Yeah.
So you ask me about Shanahan.
Yeah.
Like, boom, I'll be in a room with John Lynch, and then boom, there goes Shanahan. Yeah. So it's like, imagine if you're not prepared. So you showed up for one person. Yeah. Is my point. But then now you met 3, 4, 5, and 6
that are still relevant to what you're doing.
Correct. Yes. But you only thought you were gonna meet the one person. But now you're in these other rooms, and if you're not prepared for that, you've essentially lost the whole bigger opportunity.
And then you got Kyle Shanahan wearing it at the press conferences his damn self.
Exactly. So because everybody likes hats, right? So it's just one of those things, man. Just being prepared, and like I say, just being I can't tell you how I've been blessed just by working. Yeah. Like, you know, you saw me in the suite. Yeah, I was still working. Yeah. And so that's why I always do my phrase, still in the meeting, man. Like, I'm still in this meeting, trying to work, trying to, finesse, trying to talk to people and just get my product out there. And more importantly, I'm selling a brand, but I'm also selling Zach King too.
Come on.
Because at the end of the day, like, your brand could be whatever. I'll start another business tomorrow. Yeah. But if you're not in love with me as a person,
absolutely.
Then the product,
what would make the credibility of my next business venture?
The product is irrelevant.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Absolutely. But I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. And I got to say, because it came full circle where it came to the brand where I was a fan of the brand, and now we came and brought you onto the show. Yeah. And now we came to this where you see this hat I'm wearing right here. This is the Alameda right here.
Yes, sir, it is.
This is the Alameda.
Tell about it,
we just wanted to just announce to everybody that I'm an official brand ambassador for Residency.
100%.
And I appreciate you and the team for kind of having that.
It was a natural fit because you were wearing that hat all the time.
Come on, man.
And we've been trying to figure out the right hat. I'm like, man, why are we making this hard? Cisco don't ever take this hat off. Why are we trying?
And you know what's crazy?
Why are we trying to reinvent
I had did a photo shoot for the Western Conference podcast
with that hat,
and I had this hat on. Yep. And I just happened to put it up, and then you were like, "Oh, that pictures. Hey, send me the rest of those pictures."
There you go.
And that came about where Residency offered me a brand ambassadorship, and I want to thank you.
100%.
Thank you to the team because I only see it going up from here.
Totally.
But not only for me, for our fans too.
100%.
Not only did Zach bring me gifts, he brought you guys a gift because we have something.
Tell them about it, Cisco.
This is a Trent Williams autographed
signed
football that we are going to give away to our Western Conference fans.
To do this for the guys.
Social media, but man, shout out Trent Williams, but shout out to you, Zach.
For sure.
Come on, somebody's going to win this on social media. Make sure you follow him at Residency with a 3. at the Big Body Cisco and at the We Are Dub C podcast, because you guys are going to be able to take this sign because George, my boy who does the Gridiron Junkies, he's already trying to get this right now.
I already know he is. He better.
But you know what? Follow us for all
that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Any last words before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, just keep going, man. Keep going. It ain't over. I don't care how many times you think it's over. Be persistent. Keep the faith. I don't care who tell you to stop. Keep going. If you believe in what you're doing, just keep going, man. That's all I can say. For the young entrepreneurs out there, start early.
Yes.
You know, like I said, my first business when I was 23. I wish I would have started when I was 17.
Come on.
I appreciate going to college, but honestly, man, I knew what I was going to do. So I think just starting early. Don't be afraid to fail. Put yourself out there, and just that constant, persistent, and consistency. Man. Eventually, it will pay off. Just keep going, man. I can't.
It goes a long way.
Stress that enough, man. Keep putting yourself out there.
Come on.
Even if you're just working your pitch.
Yeah.
Even if you're just talking to people. Hey, you know, Cisco might know you today. It
Work
don't matter.
on that pitch.
Friday, he might show up like, okay, man, I saw you waiting out there too. You know, so just never give up, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
100%.
Zach King, Residency.
Yes, thank y'all. Appreciate
Western Conference podcast. Be on the lookout for this football we're going to give away. Western Conference, Big Body, Residency. We gone. Peace.
Yes, sir.